You didn't lose her because you weren't enough. You lost her because you forgot what made you powerful. You forgot your strength. And when you stop standing tall, people start looking down. She didn't leave because you were weak. She left because you became a stranger to the man she believed in. The version of you that could take on the world was buried under excuses, silence, and fear. This isn't about her. It's about the moment you let yourself break and never tried to rebuild. There comes a silence, a stillness that sets in after someone leaves. Not the kind that soothes, but the kind that haunts. The kind that screams in the absence of their voice. You replay the last words. You rewind the final glance. And you ask yourself the question that eats you alive: when did I stop being the man she needed? It doesn't happen in a moment. It happens slowly. Piece by piece. Day after day, you begin to shrink, not physically, but spiritually. You compromise what you believe in. You suppress what you feel. You abandon what made you you. Until one morning, the reflection in the mirror feels unfamiliar. And so does the person sleeping next to you. She didn't leave because you weren't worthy. She left because your strength faded. And in its place came hesitation, passivity, avoidance. A shell of the man she once saw as unshakable. Men aren't taught to notice these changes. We are told to tough it out, to push everything down, to provide, protect, perform, even when we are empty. Especially when we are breaking. But strength isn't about pretending. It's not about being cold. It's not about hiding your wounds. It's about facing what hurts and moving anyway. She saw you fall, but she didn't see you stand back up. Because you never did, and if you keep living like that, she won't be the last person who walks away. You forgot your strength, and weakness became your identity. This isn't about being emotionally tough or pretending everything's okay. It's about the inner core. The fire inside you that once burned with purpose, clarity, and conviction. The fire that says, I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I don't run. Somewhere along the way, life dulled that fire. Maybe it was disappointment. Maybe failure. Maybe shame so heavy you couldn't speak it. So you went silent. Numb. Disconnected, and she felt it. The distance. The tension. The confusion of loving someone who isn't there anymore. When you forget your strength, you become passive. You stop leading with purpose. You stop protecting your own boundaries. You stop fighting for what matters. And slowly, the relationship dies. Not because she stopped loving you, but because you stopped showing up as the man she fell for. Real strength isn't about dominance. It's not about loud words or tough talk. It's about consistency, discipline, presence. It's about being a man who carries his pain without making others bleed. A man who still holds his ground when the world tells him to crumble. She left, but she didn't break you. You were already broken. You just didn't want to see it until she was gone. And the silence started screaming truths you were too scared to hear. You forgot your strength. But that doesn't mean it's gone. It just means it's waiting for you to remember. There's a moment, a quiet, brutal moment, when you sit alone in a room that used to feel alive. Her scent still lingers. Her hair tie still rests on the nightstand. But the warmth is gone. And the air feels colder, heavier. You stare at the walls and realize they don't recognize you anymore. Because you don't recognize yourself. It didn't start with the breakup. It started long before. In the small moments. When you swallowed your truth instead of speaking it. When you chose comfort over growth. Numbness over action. Silence over connection. You used to walk into a room with certainty. You used to chase your purpose like it mattered. You used to make her feel safe, not just with your presence, but with your intention. But life hit. And when it did, you didn't adapt. You retreated, and she felt every inch of that retreat. She didn't always say it, but she noticed. When your eyes stopped lighting up. When your laughter lost its edge. When your touch became routine, not real, she tried to reach you. But it's hard to love someone who doesn't love who they've become. You think strength is about holding it all in. But she was craving your truth, even the ugly parts. You gave her your presence. But not your pain. You gave her your time. But not your truth. And in the end, she didn't feel like she lost you. She felt like you were already gone. You thought being strong meant never breaking down. Never showing doubt. Never needing help. But that version of masculinity, it's a cage. And you were living inside it, while calling it control. She wanted to see you. The real you. But you kept showing her a mask. One she couldn't hold on to. You think she left because you were weak. But she left because you refused to face your weakness. You didn't meet your pain with courage. You met it with silence. And silence, over time, becomes absence. And absence becomes distance. And distance kills love faster than betrayal.do. You remember who you were before the world hardened you. Before you started hiding the boy who once dreamed big, fought hard, and felt deeply. Because that's who she fell in love with. Not the man who stopped trying. Not the man who gave up before she walked away. You forgot your strength. But it's still buried inside you under layers of self-betrayal, regret, and pride. You don't need to become someone else. You need to return to the man you used to be before fear took the wheel. Real strength isn't stoic. It's not emotionless. It's the kind that can kneel in the dirt, stare at the wreckage of his own choices, and say, I did this. But I will rise from this. This pain you feel right now, it's not punishment. It's a message. A loud, relentless message. Wake the hell up, because if you don't, you'll lose more than her. You'll lose you. Your purpose. Your edge. Your soul. She didn't need a perfect man. She needed a present one. A man willing to look at his scars and still show up anyway. So ask yourself, are you done running from yourself? Because here's the truth no one tells you, the world doesn't care how broken you are. But the people who love you, they do. And if you shut them out long enough, they'll stop knocking. It's not too late. But it will be if you keep pretending this is anyone's fault but your own. You forgot your strength. Now it's time to earn it back, and not through words. Not through promises, but through action. One brutal, beautiful step at a time. Every day, you have a choice: stay the same, or fight your way back. Not for her. Not for appearances. But for the man you once were, and the man you still can be. She didn't fall out of love. She fell out of reach. You weren't abandoned. You were unseen. You kept saying, I'm fine, while everything inside you was screaming. You thought she left because she didn't care, but she left because you stopped showing her why she should. The silence in your soul became louder than her voice ever could. You let fear speak louder than truth. And now you live in the echo. She didn't want a hero. She wanted you. But even you forgot who that was. Sometimes, the real betrayal is self-inflicted. This isn't about blame. It's about awakening. It's about looking in the mirror and realizing you've been sleepwalking through your own life. You thought strength meant control. But real strength, it means facing yourself. It means breaking down if you have to, just so you can finally rebuild on something real. You weren't meant to be numb. You weren't meant to be hollow. You were meant to burn. With conviction. With clarity. With the kind of fire that reminds people who the hell you are, but you let life water you down. You let lust define you. You let one woman's departure become proof of your failure. It's not. It's a wake-up call. A red light flashing in your soul, screaming, get up. This version of you isn't the end. It's the starting point. You forgot your strength. But now you remember the cost of living without it. It cost you her. It cost you peace. It almost cost you yourself, but the beauty of pain is that it strips away the lies. It humbles you. And then it hands you a choice: break forever or rebuild with purpose. You can't go back. But you can become someone she'd no longer recognize, not because you're worse, but because you're finally whole. She left. But maybe that's what it took. Maybe you needed to lose her to finally find you. The world doesn't need another man pretending to be okay. It needs men who are raw, awake, and dangerous in the best way possible, because they've faced their demons and didn't flinch. That's the kind of strength no one can take from you. Not even heartbreak. If this made your chest heavy, it's because something in you remembers who you used to be. Don't scroll past it. Sit with it. Then share this with someone else who forgot their strength. Let's wake up together.